Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, and the rest. I hope everyone's doing great on this fine day. I'm your host, Ferran Zorita, and I welcome you to Low Philosophy Evenings, a nice segment where we invite people all over to invite them to talk and express their ideas regarding philosophical issues. Today, I'm joined at the table by my very good friends.
Co-host here, Santiago Gallegos.
Pleasure to meet you, Maldonado. Mariano Maldonado.
Hey, what's up, people? I'm Jesus.
Well, I guess with that energetic introduction out of the way, let's get started with today's episode. Now, remind me what it's about, Mariano.
Well, today we're gonna talk about a topic that we think it's very misunderstood. People usually say that power tends to corrupt people, but today we're gonna talk about why it's actually the complete opposite.
Wow, getting pretty heavy from the beginning. So basically, we're gonna talk about an ideology, just like the ideology about the Earth being flat. Haven't you heard about it? It's quite interesting.
Well, that's an example of it, but this one is actually right.
Well, this is a topic that's quite present in today's reality where people fight over silly ideologies.
Yeah, no kidding. With all the corruption present in this country, it is going to be pretty interesting to discuss this topic.
Okay, guys, so I'm going to start off this conversation by reading a quote that says, "The decision to be greedy and corrupt is one that the individual in control has to take. It is the human, the one who decides how to wield the power they are given." So, with that out of the way, who wants to start?
Yeah, I'm gonna explain the branches of ethics, which are touched upon by various works as it allows an individual to understand the process through which social norms are adopted.
Well, they also question these norms and test them using the tools of logic and common sense.
Okay, so guys, I don't really know a lot about branches, but I think that the specific philosophical branch that is best adapted to our argument would have to be the normative ethics, right?
Yes, exactly, completely right. Normative ethics, but why exactly is that? So, this branch studies ethical behavior, is the branch of philosophical ethics that investigates the questions that arise regarding how one needs to act, in a moral sense, of course.
Yeah, also because this branch deals with the morality of actions. So, riddle me this, riddle me that. It has 4 feet in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 3 in the night. What am I?
Okay, give me a second to think. Is it humans? No, it has to be humans. I mean, is that right?
Correct. It
Oh,
is
perfect.
humans
Yeah, I mean,
because at the
yeah.
beginning of their life, we like crawl. At the middle of our life, we walk, and at the end of our life, we use a cane.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Yeah, it's humans. I mean, it had to be because we have the control over our own actions and we get to choose where we want to base our morality, you know?
And so we have to know the actions themselves. The consequences, well, that's up to you as the one doing it. So this branch further proves our point that it's not power that corrupts humans, but rather humans are the ones who wield this power and choose to either do good or bad.
So yeah, now by expanding our understanding and the inquiry of the question we planted, we can take a look at our question through a different lens, Considering all the theories that are within this branch, we can definitely do that.
The ontological ethics, teleological ethics, and the virtue ethics pursue different paths when trying to explain the morality behind certain actions.
Yeah, it's all kind of a cluster, Keep in mind that some say that actions are the moral ones, some say that the consequences are all that matters, and others that the person is the one that matters. So it is definitely a mess.
Okay, so from what you're all saying is that there's actually a possibility that one could argue that power does hold certain influence over people and that it's not entirely them calling the shots because the path that you can take completely will impact how you behave. Is that right?
Yeah, we have to first start by clarifying that powerful people roam in different psychological space than those without power.
Completely. That is because power itself alters your perception, you know. It increases your confidence, optimism, risk-taking, sensitivity to internal thoughts, feelings, and goal-directed behavior. It is like it changes you.
Yeah, and there's a connection, as this point is clear in the sense that by having your perception altered, path that you take would most likely change, making the perception of your new empowered behavior incongruent and even bad, evil, wrong, incorrect, morally unacceptable, hideous.
Yeah, we get the point. As an example of what Mariana said, someone that adopts the philosophy of the action of killing is bad, no matter the consequences it brings, when met with absolute power and the altered perception it brings, would mostly likely change.
That is pretty interesting, you know. I guess they would most likely like to keep their newfound power and the perks that come with it, becoming different, changing paths. It might become something like killing is bad, but if the consequences is that I keep my power, then I don't mind, you know, completely changing his ideology.
Hey, I don't know about you guys, but all of these kind of seem sort of related to certain individuals that we see nowadays, especially with politicians, because in a way, it seems like completely different people before they gain the power. And after they gain all the power, they turn into hoarders, then into an outsider. And it would seem like that power just corrupts the person instead of just amplifying their already existing personality. Yet again, all of its kind it just falls apart with the reason that power isn't inherently good or evil. I mean, that's just from my perspective, but what you guys have to say.
Yeah, definitely, Ferran. You know, watch it with those comments. You don't want to disappear, insulting politicians like that. But you know, as an extra seasoning on this podcast, I would like to mention Stoicism. You know, the Stoics are a philosophical school that is very interesting, and their perspective on this issue is actually pretty interesting too. You know, they say that virtue is the only good. You know, things like power, wealth, pleasure, they don't have any meaning to themselves, so they're not either good or bad. It is you, the one that gives them either a good connotation or a bad connotation. You know, they're a material for virtue to act on.
Does anyone else have anything to
Yeah,
say?
I have something to say. So I actually brought the idea to talk about this in this podcast because, well, we can go to both sides. People who have corrupted power and people who have not, who have used it for the right reasons. And people who have corrupted power, we say, for example, politicians. And yeah,
Watch it.
I didn't hear anything.
Delete
well,
it, edit it.
Edit that out. But yeah, and an example, I'm gonna actually use a fictional character for the example of non power that wasn't corrupted and was actually used for the right means, like Batman, the superhero that almost everyone knows. He is a multimillionaire that's vigilante in the night and has used all his money to build tech and things to protect the citizens of Gotham City and all that. That would be a nice example of it.
Great, thanks. Hey, and Jesus, anything else to add?
No, not really.
Look at him with those cheap ass headphones. Of course, he has nothing to say. We can't even hear him.
Yeah. Also, your internet isn't very good, lad.
Yeah. Well,
Moving
so
on.
hey, are we? Well, so
Moving
hey,
on,
are we
moving on.
going to commercial break or what?
Yeah.
of
Ferran, please.
course. Yeah, I want to thank Cinnamon Toast Crunch for sponsoring this podcast because, you know, without them, none of this would be possible. And let me tell you that I start all my mornings with this, a Cinnamon Toast Crunch, a glass of cold milk, and that's a perfect way to start a healthy morning.
Yes,
you.
That's why he's a, perfectly tall and normal boy, Hey, everybody listening.
Very strong, if I might add.
Very strong,
Very
yes,
strong.
Of course. Everybody listening, you can use Ferran Caliente to get 50% off your, discount at the store and a free girl's number, So yeah, keep that in mind.
So, I want to thank you all for joining us on this week's episode of Low Philosophy Evenings. Remember to tune in every Friday at 2 p.m. for more. This is me signing off.
Bye, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Everybody.